everybody, and welcome to, I normally say welcome to a special episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast, welcome to the next episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. This one's feeling pretty regular, I have to say, but it's actually not. It is unseasonably cold. That's a great word, unseasonably. It's actually not cold. It's just like pouring rain in July for some reason. I don't know what to make of that, but it's not particularly cold. Like, it still is kind of muggy. So what we do with that, I don't know. I actually truly don't know what to do with that in a car, because you don't want to open the windows because it's pouring rain, but then you don't want to just like exist in the heat. So shout out to you if you live in a place where that is like the regular climate. For whatever reason, it's decided to be the regular climate where I am today, or that climate at least where I am today. I don't think it'll be a permanent change, but you really never know with this. The environment is just wild. Mother Nature has truly, like, we've pissed her off, and I stand with her. Like, I get it. We're frustrating, and she's like, you know what? Take some rain. But I also want it to be 5,000 degrees, so you kind of can't really, like, none of you are going to know how to dress. That's the difference between when Mother Nature was happy and when she wasn't. Well, I don't want to speak for her. Maybe she was never happy. And maybe it's not even happiness. Maybe she just has to, like, do her job. There's, like, checks and balances. I don't know. But yeah. It's like, do we wear raincoats? Do we wear stuff for the beach? I'm unclear. Actually, in fact, I feel like there's a Shark Tank opportunity here. I'm always looking for a Shark Tank opportunity, be it a new invention, be it something that I can make someone else make, yada yada. Oh, also, like, how do we know what type of heat to order our coffee at? Are we doing iced coffee? Are we doing hot coffee? But back to Shark Tank, what could we invent? I guess they kind of... Are there any jackets that have removable sleeves so you can turn it into a vest? Vests are not as popular as they should be. But then again, not to contradict my own self, which could be a separate show entirely. I could do that show, contradicting my own self. But, like, what is the point of a vest? Because if you need the thickness of a vest, it's probably cold. But if you want your arms out, it's probably warm. So in what scenario is a vest, like, do both of those purposes need to be served? Like, you do kind of have to pick a side. Okay, I'll be honest, I am driving and I'm having a, like, leg cramp. Does that ever happen to anyone? Like, your pedal foot has a leg cramp? What do you even do? Like, luckily it's not so bad and I'm managing it, but if it got bad, like, do you just pull over? I sort of always wondered that. And then, like, God forbid something happens, knock on wood, like, I guess I was gonna say who takes the blame. I guess you do, but it's not, like, really your fault. That's kind of one of those life predicaments. I will have to say, we are in the middle. I don't normally talk about current events. We are in the middle of Prime Day. And I whispered that because that is the, that app that starts with an A that, like, we all try and avoid, but, like, probably are using more and more as the minutes tick on because it's so convenient. There are days where, like, I have barely thought about what I need to get from the store, and I could have ordered it off Amazon faster. Like, it can be delivered to your front door before you would even have the opportunity to have the thought, grab your car keys, go into the car, and get to the store. Like, it's crazy how fast they're getting. Like, they're literally getting into your head. And now they have Prime Day, which is so confusing to me because it's like 3 days or something. It's like the whole week, but it's still called Prime Day. It's like when the Boxing Day sales last for 2 months. Like, no, it's called Day. Like, keep it special, people. And then they'll always do like a random one. Like, they'll do the July one, which actually used to mean something, and now it's like, okay, here's 10% off. 10% off is not a Prime Day deal. 10% off is also not a Boxing Day deal, people. We've talked about this before. Wait, do you think they time Prime Day for July so that it's not, so that they can just like recycle the same sales from Boxing Day and it's less obvious because it's 6 months before or post? That's gotta be it. I cracked their case. That's totally why they chose July. But regardless, I have already bought a $25 jar of almond butter. Now, yes, it is Prime Day. Was that a sale price? I'm not sure. I don't know. It might have been. I just feel like because it's Prime Day, it was an excuse to spend money. So I'm totally falling for their scheme. And yes, I did order it at, I think it was 4:08 a.m. or maybe 3:07. It was either 4:08 or 3:07 a.m. And it's not being shipped until potentially, they don't want to speak too soon, but potentially July. So I can't really hit you up with a review anytime soon. So don't be waiting on that. But it's coming at some point. Almond coconut butter. I love coconut. Which is funny because, like, I don't know that I've ever actually had, like, a fresh coconut, like, from the vine. I don't even know if I would know where or how to procure one. And then if I did get one, I feel like it would be one of those things where I was like, oh, look how cool, I have a coconut. And then it's like, what do I do with it? Like, what do you actually do with just like a raw coconut? I mean, I guess eat it. Is there coconut butter? And then one more question. If something has coconut in it, is it no longer nut-free? That's actually, I think, one of my better questions. If there's coconut in something, is it nut-free? If I wasn't being a safe driver with a leg cramp, that is starting to pass. Thank you for asking. I think I'll be fine. But if I wasn't driving, I would totally Google that. But I am. I also want to know what a hemp seed is. But that's like a whole separate topic. So I'll Google that one later as well. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a nice Prime week. I hope you're finding lots of 10% offs. I'm just sitting here on my, my usual Wednesday morning commute, fighting against the masses to go, enter in my 8 hours. What is that called? Clock in for my 8 hours. Drinking my way too expensive to-go coffee cup that they've stopped giving sleeves. I don't know if this is everywhere or just where I am or just at certain restaurants, but like you've started to have to ask for a sleeve for like a hot beverage, which is funny because I would normally just go for an iced coffee for a couple reasons. One, you don't have to worry about the sleeve nonsense, although I have seen it. I've seen it be done. I've seen people put sleeves over cold beverages, which, okay, like maybe your hands are cold, I get it, sure. Now I think that is where we start wasting, so to speak, we start wasting the sleeves. Like I think that is probably where we started going wrong, although I do not judge it. But I also think that like if they're gonna take away the sleeve, again, I'm all about Mother Nature, I was just defending her. But if you're gonna take it away, like let's make these cups a little thicker. In which case, these cups are also paper, so like, what the hell? It kind of confuses me. I'm all down for the cause. I think save the planet, like stuff is ending up in the landfill, like whatever we need to do, I'm all ears. But like, sometimes it's like, okay, so we can't have a straw, but we can have a huge like paper cup? Or like half the stuff at the grocery store is still wrapped in plastic. And like, I don't want to call them out, but I'm sorry, like Costco, I love you. Thank you for the $1.50 hot dog always and forever, but like a lot of your stuff comes in a multi-pack, and guess how you pack those two things together? With plastic. Like they'll have like 2 bottles of something like in a similar package. It's always in plastic. So it's like, isn't that the equivalent of one straw? And there are thousands of those merchandise, you know, on the floor. So however they say it in retail. So it's just a little bit like, well, how are we justifying this? And maybe there's an answer. I don't know. I'm not saying there's not. As always, I'm open. I'm nothing if not open. Here comes the traffic. I knew it was too good to be true. Last week I was talking about how I think it would be cool to, at the end of your life, get like a Spotify Wrapped of like all the crap you did, like all your stats. I would like a, hours spent sitting in traffic. And then if there could be like an addendum, I would like the amount of times you cut people off. I would like the amount of times you let people in. And then I would also like, hours of road rage. Number of times you waved to somebody for letting you in. Number of times you did not wave to someone for letting you in. Because that's on the uptick as well. I always wave. I think I wave too much. Title of this episode. I think I wave too much. And I don't think other people wave enough. Not to judge. Now, you're speaking to someone who I'm not pro waving in public. I think it's awkward. I think you never know if someone's waving to you. Like if I see somebody that I think I know in public, I of course, to run the other way. But if it's too late to run the other way, I'll start with just a smile, because sometimes they're waving and they're not waving at you. They're waving at like the person behind you. They're waving at, maybe you're in the mall food court and you sent kind of one member of your party over to see if Panda Express had, the Beyond Meat orange chicken, and then they did, and you were excited, so you looked over and you were waving and said, "Yes, come on, right, my friends, let's go. They do have the orange chicken." You're waving to your pals. Like, it could have been about the orange chicken, and now you look like an idiot waving to essentially nobody. And I just, I'm not an idiot. As you can hear. Okay, update, this traffic actually isn't so bad, so I'm happy about that. And my coffee has cooled down because I did get it close to 45 minutes ago. So in essence, I should have just gotten a nice coffee, because now I'm just drinking a lukewarm coffee. And I'm happy to report that my leg cramp has passed. Maybe it was a distraction method. That would be my advice. If you're ever getting a leg cramp, well, one, if it's bad enough, pull over. But if it's not quite bad enough, just start recording an episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast, and you should be fine. Would be my advice. Anyway, I hope everyone has had a great week. We are firmly in July. Pumpkin spice, I kid you not, like any minute now. Any minute now we're going to start. I've bought candy corn in July, and I'm not scared to do it again. I'm not. I don't know who thought I was, but I'm not. I will do it again. So we're like a month out. Month and a bit. I don't know that I'm ready. And I can't believe I said that out loud, but like, I could take a couple weeks of summer, which we technically have. But we also hadn't, because it's raining. But I like the rain, but it's like there's also a time for the rain. See, I'm very confusing because my favorite season is usually the one that just happened. Grass is always greener type thing. Ultimately, it is fall. It is autumn. But at the same time, like, summer's good. Maybe we enjoy summer this year. Take a sandwich to the beach. I actually hate the beach. That I can stand for. I'm not a beach person. I'm not like a sit. I don't really do vacation necessarily. I've been lucky to have visited some places, which is great. Again, very lucky. But like, I don't really do like, let's go sit on the beach. So that aspect of summer, like, I just don't kind of need it. I am more of like a let's go to the pumpkin patch. And by let's, I mean I've gone to the pumpkin patch by my lonesome before on a Monday at like 1 p.m. and it was fantastic. I highly recommend doing it. I bought a delicata squash and a little mini pumpkin. I believe the pumpkin stayed in my room until probably close to March, if not April, potentially into the summer, if I'm being really honest. It just like wasn't rotting. It was the strongest pumpkin I'd ever seen. It was actually quite inspiring. I was like, what is this pumpkin? Just like thriving. It might have been not my room. It might have been in the basement. So I don't know if like the humidity or the moisture or whatever like science needed to happen for that to be the case. But I was just thinking as I was sipping my coffee, this could have pumpkin syrup in it in a matter of 4 to 6 weeks. I've had plates in my room longer than 4 to 6 weeks. So I know sort of what that looks like. I know what 4 to 6 weeks feels like, and it's fast. So there's that. You just have to have something to look forward to, Whether that's a show that's starting or an off-Broadway play. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? If I do a play that's not on Broadway, does that make it off-Broadway? Like, anything that's not on Broadway is off. Is this an off-Broadway podcast? Because it's not on Broadway. I am near a street, technically, called Broadway. I'm sure. They must be running out of names to call streets, because some of these streets that are popping up, I'm like, why was this the name? Ooh, there's someone that wants to get in. Should I let them? Oh, I feel bad I didn't. Oops. Okay, add that to my stats. I was a rude person. Sometimes I worry that it, like, if you kind of do that thing where you hesitate, like, they're going to think that they're good to go and they're not. And then, like, if you have to slam the brakes and the person behind you, like, crashes into you, and then that's technically... If someone crashes into you, I think that's automatically their fault. Right? But then it's almost like, shouldn't it be your fault because you slammed on the brakes? But then it's like, well, how do you prove that? I can't imagine being like I don't even know what type of lawyer it would be, but it would be like a car, like an automobile lawyer. Is there such thing as an automobile lawyer? Automotive lawyer? At what point in law school do you decide what type of lawyer you are? I would have such bad nervous diarrhea on that day, because what if you choose the wrong one? And then, like, if you decide, oh, actually, you know what, corporate's not for me, do you have to go back to that day in law school and, like, start from there and, like, learn now family law? I don't know. Ooh, I have some good news. Okay, well, I have bad news and good news. Where I go regularly, I have to now pay to park. That's the bad news. Now, the good news is I forgot to pay to park for the first half of my day yesterday. And the way the parking works is you pay for a 24-hour period. And with how my schedule worked today, I am still technically registered to park. Like, my 24 hours from yesterday are not up yet and will not be up until I will already have to leave today. So, I don't have to worry about lying to myself, saying that I'm going to park in the lot that you don't have to pay and walk, or like look for street parking, because I've technically already been a loser and paid. I did a BOGO sale in the spirit of Prime Day. I did a BOGO sale for myself. I buyed one, get one, parking edition. And that's how I knew that I would have the finances to make the, $7 coffee purchase that unfortunately didn't have a sleeve, and now I'm complaining about anyway. Truly the American dream. Oh, I did something really weird. As if I don't normally. I don't know that this is weird. I went to a Saturday 12:50 p.m. showing of Megan 2. That would be the sequel to the film about the AI doll Megan that is spelt with a 3. Now, I did see Megan 1. I can't say that I saw all of Megan 1. So I was Googling, or rather listening to a YouTube video about the plot details of Megan 1. Or the ending, the second half, the latter half of Megan 1. I needed to brush up on. Just so that I could understand the entirety of Megan 2. Turns out I didn't really need to know. Like, they're pretty separate. Like, same characters and everything, but, like, it wasn't, like, the most important piece of information. The ending of Megan 1, in my opinion. But I roll up to this theater, and I'm thinking, like, oh, it's a Saturday, like, it'll be busy. No, I'm someone who, in the past, like, I will be at the theater, like, probably almost a full hour before the showtime. Now, I'll roll in, like, 10 minutes after it says it starts, grab my pop, maybe some popcorn, bag of chips, whatever, pretzel if I'm feeling fancy, and obviously pickled jalapenos, hot sauce, the whole thing. And then, pickled jalapenos, or just pickles, why not? And then I'll just roll into the theater, right when the showtime starts. I go to the movies enough that, like, I don't always need to see the trailers for things. Like, I got it, We'll be fine. But I was the only one, and not only my theater, but the theater. Like, I did not see a single soul at this movie theater on a Saturday. And I thought the movies were back. I thought we were going and supporting and Top Gun and all of that. But they're not back where I was, unfortunately. So maybe we need to bring them back. I don't know. But I love the movies. I wouldn't necessarily say, like, you all need to run to the theater to see Megan 2. I also saw the F1 movie. I'm being very culturally relevant, so to speak, this episode. I normally don't talk about current events. But, I mean, hey, that's life. I also am not watching Love Island, just for the record. I can't get into it. I tried. I was confused. And I quit. I said it. On this Prime Week 2025, I quit. Alrighty, what else happened this week? Not too much, I have to say. I wish I could say I had a more eventful week. I did not. The humidity is starting to get to me. The rain is starting to pass. But I'm also cold, but then I'm sweating just a touch. So, again, very confusing, but I'm very excited. I'm about to pull into the parking lot where I know I don't have to pay because I already paid, but I don't have to think of it like that because that would be negative. I'm exactly on time. There's a lot to celebrate. Let the good times roll. The only good thing about paying to park is the parking options are a lot better than when I wasn't paying to park. So I get to, just kind of roll up, pick a spot near the front, and we're good to go. That is nice. The free area that I was parking before was a little bit brutal in terms of walking. There were hills, there was elevation, constipation, all of it, all of the Asians. And it just wasn't for me. But anyway, I hope we're all having a good summer. Are we midway through the summer? I'm trying to back up, park, and someone is waiting for me. My car's beeping. It's beeping. It's beeping. There's beeping. Oh, there's someone else coming. Oh, here we go. I randomly forgot how to parallel park a little while ago. And then I randomly remembered one day. I went from, maybe it was a mental block. I went from being a decent parallel parker. Okay, I hear you. A decent parallel parker to being a terrible parallel parker, overnight. And then I went back to being a good parallel parker again overnight. So I guess just believe in yourself would be the message there. I'm not sure. Okay, now that I've arrived, I'm trying to think, what were all the things that I wanted to Google for this episode? If I actually, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because if I can go the next few minutes without Googling, this will probably be the first episode in Nobody Asked for This podcast history that I did not Google anything. Because Google is my co-host. If you can't find a co-host, good old Google, or I guess AI really, can be your co-host. Ask, believe, receive. Anyway, I did something random. Oh, you know what I did yesterday? I searched high and low 4 gas stations in a row looking for a banana. I wanted a banana. I was too lazy to go to an actual store. I remember that sometimes 7-Eleven has them, so I went to 4 different gas stations. Now, I did not end up with a banana. And I was even crazy enough to ask. I went up to the register and was like, do you have fruit? Do you have bananas here? 2 of them, no fruit to be found. 2 of them did have fruit, but just not a banana. But both of them had signs for bananas. They just didn't have them in that moment. So, 2 things to note. 1, if you're not certain if a store will have something, just go to the store that you know will have it. I think that's kind of my takeaway, my moral of the story. Because you'll just waste your time looking for it. But second, gas stations sometimes have fruit. Whatever you need to take from that message, you take from it. And if that's nothing, I respect it. But listen, sometimes you just need a gas station piece of fruit. I wonder where they get it. Do they just go to Walmart in the morning and get the fruit? Also, gas station bananas must be very popular because it was the only fruit that was taken. I saw pears, I saw apples, I saw green apples, red apples, oranges, just no bananas. So maybe I'm actually normal. Maybe it is so popular to buy a banana at a 7-Eleven that they just ran out. I'm going to think of it that way. Okay. If you've liked what you heard, which I can't imagine you didn't, what's not to like, you can go to podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. On there, you can listen to all of the episodes. You can subscribe. You can, leave a comment. Maybe, if you felt like it. I'm feeling a little bloated personally. But maybe you're feeling like you want to leave a comment. Yeah. The sun's coming out. Maybe this day's turning around. Probably not. But I don't want to be negative. So, if you like what you've heard, if you've taken the time to listen, I really do appreciate it. Honestly and truly. Everyone, go grab yourself a gas station piece of fruit, and I will meet you back here next week. Have a good day. Bye. Have a good day. Have a good night. Wherever you are, I hope it's good. Peace out.